I wanted to finish up now with Jason Bermas on Zeitgeist Addendum. In closing, Jason, just everything about it is bad. They mix in that the Federal Reserve is bad, and they say they have a new world order that's going to be great. It's total theosophic society, the UN religion, the UN Christ is in it. They're talking about the God spirit in us, and then telling us that we're just religious. Well, we're not even talking about religion because they are religiously obsessed with this new man. This is straight up Albert Pike, and we need to expose this because this is aggressive towards us. I've noticed the whole movement is aggressive, but then always acts like if you criticize it that you don't even count. You're just an intellectual idiot. Shut up. So just classic New World Order tactics. Jason Bermas?
Yeah, and they also discuss how every civilization before the one that is created won't even be in the history books. It'll be pretty much eviscerated, and they'll just talk about how there were big land grabs and people took stuff from other people. Well, that's pretty horrifying to me. I'd like to think that the story of the human spirit is going to live on for generations to come, especially after we defeat these globalists, Alex.
Well, absolutely. Everything is a process, and anybody that tells you that, there's this utopia and the withering away of the state and we're going to re-educate people, look out. And I just, the public, a lot of people are being suckered by this, but I'm going to have to counter it. And then they never counter me on any of my facts, like, well, why is this guy, the UN Christ? I mean, why are they talking about God spirit? I'm not even bringing up religious systems. You are. And they just, say, shut up. You're not even allowed to comment. I mean, I just go back to that, or they say, you're just jealous of it. No, I've never even really watched it until now. I'm not paying attention. I have everybody on to build everybody up. I mean, they try every intellectual, dishonest trick, the people that are trying to counter us, when I'm just saying, hey, man, this is the New World Order group. This is the Theosophic group. I mean, they have the Christ of the Theosophic group in their film. That's what they're saying. This has always been that New World Order technocratic religion. Where they set up communism and then dangle pictures of high-tech cities in front of you. I mean, that's the old trick 100 years ago. And they're doing the same trick again, and I'm just going, I'm going, my God, I know history. I've seen this a million times. They're like, no, it's new, it's revolutionary. You can't even grasp it. And, man is, going to quit wanting his neighbor's wife, and people aren't going to want bigger, better houses. I said, well, can I have a house in this future system? And he goes, you will have a place where you can go to for privacy. Well, will I be able to have a gun? Well, I don't see why you're going to need a gun. There's going to be all this great peace. And then we'll have everything will be according to the load of the earth. Well, who's going to decide that? And that's all the Theosophic system. Man, I tell you, Bermas, this is amazing.
Yeah, I was very wary with the original release of Zeitgeist. I thought it was, well-produced, excellently done. I had a lot of questions. I actually interviewed Peter Joseph probably 2.5 years ago. And, looking back on it, if you check it out on YouTube, when I asked him, well, how do you feel about people interpreting this as kind of new agey and futuristic and kind of one-worldy, he got very defensive on that. And he was like, well, what's wrong with that? And I countered it by saying, well, a lot of the proponents of that don't seem to have this great utopian vision for the common man. It seems like that utopian vision is for the upper echelon, while the rest of us are pretty much drugged and enslaved, Alex. I mean, No,
that's the key, what you just hit on. This Zeitgeist Illuminati view is for the general slaves. You won't work anymore. It's going to be heavenly. The machines will run it all. That's always what they've put out for the general public the last 150 years. But for the elite and their real UN policy documents and the Theosophic Society, it's exterminating the majority of us. And Alice Bailey, and then after that, Barbara Marx Hubbard, saying, we're the pale horse death. We're going to slaughter the majority of people. Every Christian must be killed because their backward system keeps the consciousness from rising and keeps. And so I'm like having him on, with a secular show going, well, what about this and that? Oh, you're Christianity. Well, I'm not talking about Christianity. Christians, and other religious people. It's all made up. It's not science. Meanwhile, did you hear about the Theosophic Society Christ and the wonderfulness that's coming? And I'm like, this is cult land. That's what this is.
Yeah, and I got to say, Alex, like you stated before, I'm not the most religious guy out there, but you have to give some kind of credence to religion when the upper echelon are out there doing pagan rituals in the woods of California in Sonoma for 2 weeks out of the year.
But more than that, the locals protested me in a bunch of newspapers and the Sonoma Free Press and the rest of it because I covered the rituals. They got real mad about that, and then we showed up and they were doing rituals. The point is, they always claim they're atheists. That's their cover to discredit the existing system because they have to get rid of the old before they bring in the new that is really the ancient.
I'm with you, Alex, and thank God for people like yourself that continue to expose this system. And I do what I can. I was on a radio show this morning talking about one world government, the new world order, the election. But yeah, this Zeitgeist Addendum, I'm hoping it won't take off as big as Zeitgeist. We are giving it a lot of press, but that's because a lot of people are coming to us with this stuff. We're getting emails.
Well, here's the deal. Exactly. I mean, people said, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And I went and watched it. And you told me you were worried about it, and I went and said, "Man, this I've seen this 100 times. This is pure New World Order. This is their highest level system. This is what they push always for over 100 years." And then I got the guy on, and he just kind of dissed me. When I talked about genetics having a big effect, on any point, or on certain breeds of cow being more aggressive, he said, "No, they're not." And I'm like, and he was science. You don't have science. And I'm like, I'm talking about science here. I mean, no, that's not, what they're doing is religious. What they're doing is a religion. It's the religion of the one world Christ world government state. Jason Bermas, thanks for being on with us.
Thanks, Alex.
You bet. Yeah, I mentioned this a few weeks ago because I saw it and was kind of worried about it. But then I thought, oh, these are good guys. They just mean well, kind of new agey. And then I researched it more, and I was like, whoa, this is the top echelon stuff. I mean, this is the world Christ. This is the world government. And man, now I'm like, whoa. This is serious. Because I should have countered this years ago. But I tried to play nice. Well, see, they don't want to play nice, folks. It's all about how they're high up and you're low down. It's a mind trick. When really it's a bunch of bull they're putting out. All right.